Hey everyone! So Gỏi Cuốn, you might know them as fresh spring rolls or summer rolls, are these amazing things from Vietnam. They're not like those fried spring rolls you might be thinking of. Nope, these guys are packed with super fresh, colorful stuff. And get this, the rice paper they're wrapped in is so thin you can see all the yummy ingredients inside. Makes them look so good and good for you. Lots of folks love Gỏi Cuốn because they're so light and well, refreshing. It's like Vietnamese cooking magic, taking simple stuff and making it totally awesome. They're all about those fresh tastes and feels, just begging you to take a bite. So when you first lay eyes on a Gỏi Cuốn, you'll see this super thin wrapper. That's rice paper, or bánh trang, as they call it in Vietnam. It's almost see-through, like a little window to all the goodies inside. Pink shrimp, green herbs, white noodles, and sometimes you get some tasty pork in there too. When you hold one, it feels cool and light in your hand, not heavy or greasy at all. You just know it's gonna taste clean. It's not just about the taste, you know? Seeing it and feeling it is a big part of why Gỏi Cuốn are so cool. It's a treat for your eyes too. Eating Gỏi Cuốn, oh, it's awesome. Every bite is like a party of soft, crunchy, and chewy things. The rice paper is soft and a little sticky. The noodles are smooth and light. Then you get those fresh herbs like mint and cilantro. Pow, so cool. Crunchy lettuce and bean sprouts add a nice crunch. If there's shrimp, it's sweet and soft. Pork, that makes it a bit richer and savory. All together, it's just perfect in your mouth. Simple, but so good and full of life. And these rolls, they're not just a quick snack or something to start your meal. They show a way of eating that loves fresh and balanced food. In Vietnam, people eat Gỏi Cuốn all the time. At family dinners for a light lunch when it's hot out, or at parties and get-togethers, making and eating them is something people often do together. They stand for healthy living and that yummy, simple style of Vietnamese food. They really are all about clean, bright eating. The story of Gỏi Cuốn connects way back to old times. People think the idea of wrapping food in a thin paper came from China. Chinese food has a long history of spring rolls called chun juan. They used to eat these during the spring festival, kind of like a symbol for new beginnings and springtime. For many, many years, people from China and Vietnam shared a lot of ideas, including ways to cook and different foods. So Vietnamese cooks probably learned about these wrapped foods from their neighbors up north and changed them over time. But Vietnamese Gỏi Cuốn are pretty different from Chinese fried spring rolls. Even though the idea of a roll might have started in China, Vietnam made it totally their own. Vietnam is often warm and a bit sticky weather-wise. That might be why fresh, uncooked rolls got so popular. Fried foods can feel heavy when it's hot. Gỏi Cuốn, with all their cool ingredients, were a great, refreshing choice. The Vietnamese people took the basic idea and switched it up. They used local foods and flavors to make something new and very Vietnamese, showing how smart they were with their cooking. The name Gỏi Cuốn even tells you something about it. Gỏi means salad and Cuốn means to roll or wrap, so it's pretty much a salad roll. This name really points out how fresh the ingredients are. It talks about the raw veggies and herbs that are super important parts. Unlike a lot of Chinese spring rolls that are filled with cooked stuff before frying, Gỏi Cuốn are all about the taste of fresh, crispy things. This love for raw freshness is a special sign of many Vietnamese dishes and makes Gỏi Cuốn different from where they might have gotten their start. So while you can see a little hint of Chinese cooking in the idea of a roll, Gỏi Cuốn is super Vietnamese. It shows how different places can borrow ideas, but then change them into something brand new, perfect for their own weather and what they like to eat. The Vietnamese people love the idea of a roll. They filled it with all the good stuff from their land and waters. They made a dish that's now known and loved all over the world for being special, and it really shows off Vietnam's amazing food history and how they can create new things. Rice is like the main star in Vietnamese food and everyday life. Vietnam has these great places for growing rice, like the Mekong Delta, because they have so much rice, it has shaped their food in tons of ways. Two really important things made from rice are rice paper, banh trang, and rice noodles, bún. These are super important for Gỏi Cuốn. If Vietnam didn't have such a big rice culture, we wouldn't have Gỏi Cuốn like we know them. Making these rice-based foods was a big step for creating this famous fresh roll, showing all the different things you can do with rice. Bánh trang, that thin rice paper wrapper, is amazingly simple. It starts with rice flour mixed with water to make a thin, watery mix. This mix is then spread really thin on a cloth over a pot of steamy water. It cooks super fast, making a delicate, almost see-through sheet. Then they carefully take these sheets off and dry them on bamboo racks in the sun. What you get is a dry, crispy circle. When you want to make Gỏi Cuốn, you just dip this dry rice paper in warm water for a moment, and like magic, it turns into a soft, bendy wrapper ready to be filled. Rice vermicelli noodles, or bun, are another key rice thing in Gỏi Cuốn. These thin, white noodles are also made from rice flour. To make them, they make a dough, then push it through tiny holes to make long strings. These strings are cooked in boiling water and then rinsed. Bun noodles are wonderfully light and a bit springy. They add some oomph to the Gỏi Cuốn without making it heavy. They also soak up some of the flavors from the other ingredients and the dipping sauce. Their plain taste lets the fresh herbs and whatever protein is in there really stand out. Having both rice paper and rice noodles in Gỏi Cuốn really shows how important rice is to what Vietnamese people eat. It's not just a side dish, it's like a main building block. The smarts of Vietnamese cooks turned this simple grain into all sorts of yummy parts. These parts, like bánh trang and bún, are now eaten by people all over the world. They show how clever and skilled people were, using what they got from Vietnam's rich farmlands, especially all those big rice fields. The cool thing about Gỏi Cuốn is all the fresh and balanced stuff inside. Usually, these rolls have cooked shrimp and thin pieces of pork. The shrimp tastes a little bit sweet and looks nice and pink. The pork gives it a nice, rich, savory taste. Together, they're a classic combo you see in lots of Vietnamese dishes. These meats are usually cooked simply, like just boiled or lightly steamed. This keeps their natural flavors. They're not supposed to take over the roll, but just go well with the other, fresher parts, making it hearty and satisfying. A super important part of Gỏi Cuốn is all the fresh herbs and veggies. Common herbs are mint, rau hung, cilantro, rau mui, and sometimes Thai basil, hung ke, or perilla leaves, tia a te tto. These herbs bring bright, good-smelling flavors. They add different tastes that make every bite interesting. Crispy lettuce leaves give a nice crunch and a base for the other fillings. Bean sprouts are often in there too, for their snappy feel and mild taste. These greens aren't just for flavor, they add bright color and good vitamins, making the rolls pretty and healthy. In Vietnamese cooking, balance is a big deal. Sometimes they talk about it like yin and yang, or the 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, water. Gỏi Cuốn are a perfect example of this idea. The cool, fresh herbs and veggies, that's the yin part, balance out the richer meats like pork, that's yang. All the different textures, soft rice, paper, chewy noodles, crispy veggies, soft shrimp, make it feel just right. The colors of the ingredients also help make it balanced and look good. Green from herbs, pink from shrimp, white from noodles. This smart mix is a big reason why people love this dish so much. What freshness means in Gỏi Cuốn is really important. It stands for being clean, healthy, and full of life. Using ingredients that are raw or just lightly cooked celebrates them just as they are. It's a way of eating that feels clean and light. This fits with how many Vietnamese people like food that isn't too heavy or oily, especially when it's warm out. Each ingredient is picked for its own special quality, but when you put them together, they make something even better. Each part gets to shine, making a roll that's both simple and wonderfully tasty. Alright, section 5. Dipping into flavor. The super important sauces for Gỏi Cuốn. You know, a Gỏi Cuốn isn't really complete without a dipping sauce to go with it. These sauces, they're not just something extra. They're super important for how it all tastes. They add wetness, more flavor, and make the fresh rolls even more interesting. Now, there are 2 sauces that are usually served with Gỏi Cuốn. Each one has its own special taste. They're good for different tastes and make the light flavors of the roll's fillings even better. Picking a sauce or even having a little of both is part of the fun of eating Gỏi Cuốn, letting you make it your own tasty adventure. So, let's talk about the first popular sauce, which is a creamy peanut hoisin sauce. This sauce is rich, sweet, and savory, and it smells nutty. It's usually made from hoisin sauce, peanut butter, water, or coconut milk, and sometimes a little sugar or garlic. Some might have a little chili for a tiny kick. This thick sauce sticks really well to the smooth rice paper. Its comfy, kind of rich flavor is a great change from the light, fresh stuff inside the roll. Lots of people love this sauce because it's so satisfyingly rich and goes perfectly with the pork and shrimp. The second classic dipping sauce is nuoc cham. This is a basic sauce in Vietnamese cooking used for lots of dishes. Nuoc cham is a thinner sauce, more tangy, and a little spicy. It's made with fish sauce, lime juice, sugar, water, and often has tiny chopped garlic and bird's eye chilies. Its flavor is a lively mix of salty, sweet, sour, and spicy. Nuoc cham gives a zesty, bright taste that goes well with the Gỏi Cuốn. It cuts through any richness and makes the freshness of the herbs and veggies pop. This sauce is especially refreshing and adds a fun kick to every bite. Both sauces are really important for making the Gỏi Cuốn experience even better. The peanut hoisin sauce gives a comfy, creamy richness. The nuoc cham gives a tangy, spicy brightness. Often people get to choose or even get both, so they can then dip how they like. Dipping the roll into the sauce right before eating also makes the meal more fun and hands-on. These sauces don't just add flavor, they show how good Vietnamese cooking is at mixing tastes and textures, making sure every bite is just right and super satisfying. Okay, section 6, from Vietnam to the world. Gỏi Cuốn takes on the world. How Gỏi Cuốn spread outside of Vietnam is tied to big things that happened in history. After the Vietnam War ended in 1975, many Vietnamese people left their country. They looked for safe places to live in other countries like the United States, Canada, Australia, and France. As they settled in new homes, they brought their awesome ways of cooking with them. They opened restaurants and food stands, showing their new neighbors the unique tastes of Vietnamese food. Gỏi Cuốn, being so fresh and appealing, quickly became a big hit with people trying Vietnamese food for the first time. Later on in the 20th century and into the century, eating healthy became a big thing around the world. People started paying more attention to what they were eating. They wanted food that was not just tasty, but also good for you and light. Gỏi Cuốn fit this perfectly. They're naturally low in fat, full of fresh veggies and lean meat. They're not fried, which really appealed to people wanting to eat healthier. Because it was just what people wanted for healthy food, it got super popular everywhere. How Gỏi Cuốn looks also helped it become a global star. In a time of social media and taking pictures of food, dishes that look pretty often get popular fast. The see-through rice paper showing off the colorful stuff inside makes Gỏi Cuốn look great in pictures. They look fresh, bright, and yummy. Being perfect for Instagram helped show Gỏi Cuốn to even more people, especially younger folks who often follow online food trends. The rolls became a sign of healthy, cool, and tasty eating, shared all over the internet. Today, you can find Gỏi Cuốn in Vietnamese restaurants all over the planet. They're also showing up in regular supermarkets and even in restaurants that aren't Vietnamese but love how fresh they are. They're so flexible, they can be changed for different diets like vegetarian or gluten-free. Since rice paper doesn't have gluten, being easy to find and change has made Gỏi Cuốn one of Vietnam's most loved food messengers. They're a yummy reminder of how a simple, traditional dish can win over people's hearts and taste buds all over the world. Now for Section 7, a taste of place, different styles across Vietnam. While the main idea of Gỏi Cuốn, fresh stuff wrapped in rice paper, is pretty much the same, there are cool differences in different parts of Vietnam. These differences often show what fruits and veggies grow nearby, the local cooking ways, and what people in each area like. Looking at these changes gives you a better idea of all the different kinds of food in Vietnam. From north to south, cooks might add their own special touches to their Gỏi Cuốn, making small but special differences in taste. These local changes make eating Gỏi Cuốn always a new discovery, even just in Vietnam. In southern Vietnam, where Gỏi Cuốn are super popular and maybe what most people think of, the rolls often have the classic mix of shrimp, pork, noodles, lettuce, and herbs like mint and chives. But even here, you might find tiny differences. For example, some families or street sellers might add a few thin pieces of crunchy green banana or sour star fruit. These additions bring an extra texture and a little bit of sourness, which goes great with the other flavors. The dipping sauce in the South is often that rich peanut hoisin sauce, but nuoc cham is always an option too. If you go towards central Vietnam, you might find rolls with slightly different fillings or dipping sauces. For example, in places around Hue, which used to be the King City and is known for its fancy cooking, how they make it might be more careful and pretty. Some local types might have things like pickled carrots and daikon radish for extra tang and crunch. The herbs they use could also be different based on what grows well in that area. The dipping sauces might also have local twists, maybe with more chili or special kinds of fermented bean pastes that you only find in central Vietnamese cooking. In northern Vietnam, while they do have fresh rolls, they might not be as common as in the south. The north has its own kinds of rolled dishes, some of which are fried or steamed. When they do make fresh rolls like Gỏi Cuốn, they might use slightly different herbs or different amounts of ingredients. For example, what herbs people like can change from place to place. The dipping sauces might also be more of a simple, saltier fish sauce mix, sometimes with less sugar than the southern nuoc cham. These small regional differences show how Vietnamese cooking can change and the local pride in their own special ways of cooking. And we're at Section 8, New Twists, How Gỏi Cuốn is Changing in Modern Kitchens. Gỏi Cuón's story hasn't just stuck with old recipes. As this yummy dish has traveled around the world, chefs and home cooks have started to try new things. They're making modern, mixed-style versions that use ingredients and flavors that aren't traditional. This change shows how flexible the fresh roll idea is and why people still love it. These new ways often mix Vietnamese methods with food ideas from all over the world. This leads to exciting and new kinds of rolls that lots of different people like, pushing the idea of what a fresh spring roll can be. One common way people are getting creative is with the protein filling. While shrimp and pork are classic, modern Gỏi Cuốn might have grilled chicken, beef that's been soaked in flavor, or smoked salmon. Vegetarian and vegan versions are also super popular. These often have things like pan-fried tofu, tempeh, or even strips of ripe avocado. Some creative cooks use thinly sliced mango or other sweet fruits to add a tropical taste. These changes and additions work for people who eat different things and show how the Gỏi Cuốn wrapper can hold all sorts of tasty fillings. The dipping sauces that go with them are also getting creative makeovers. Besides the traditional peanut hoisin and nuoc cham, new sauces are popping up. You might find Gỏi Cuốn served with a spicy sriracha mayo, a tangy tamarind dip, or a creamy avocado cilantro sauce. Some chefs try out Japanese-style miso dressings or Thai-style sweet chili sauces. These new sauces can totally change how it tastes. They offer new layers of flavor that go with the fresh ingredients in surprising and great ways, showing tastes from all over the world. This trend of modern, mixed-style Gỏi Cuốn is really exciting. It shows that traditional dishes can change, but still respect where they came from. The main idea of fresh ingredients wrapped in soft rice paper is still there, but now there are endless ideas for fillings and sauces. This creativity keeps Gỏi Cuốn cool and interesting for new groups of eaters. It also shows how food culture is always changing and adapting. Gỏi Cuốn in all its forms keeps being a way for cooks to show off their ideas, mixing old traditions with today's tastes from everywhere. Last up, Section 9, More Than Just Food, the friendly vibe of Gỏi Cuốn. Gỏi Cuốn are more than just yummy and healthy food. They're a special part of Vietnamese culture because they're a food people enjoy together. One of the best ways to eat Gỏi Cuốn is at get-togethers where everyone helps make their own rolls. Big plates are set out full of all the fresh stuff, cooked shrimp and pork, bowls of noodles, piles of crispy lettuce and good-smelling herbs, and stacks of rice paper next to bowls of warm water for dipping them. This hands-on setup turns the meal into something everyone does together. Making your own Gỏi Cuốn is a fun and cool experience. Each person can make their roll exactly how they like it. Some might want more herbs, while others might pile on the shrimp or noodles. It gets people talking and laughing as they share tips on how to roll or talk about what they made. This do-it-yourself way makes the meal more personal and something you remember. It helps people feel close and share good times, which is really important in Vietnamese get-togethers. It's a very chill and casual way to eat. This group way of eating Gỏi Cuốn shows how important family and friends are in Vietnam. Meals are often seen as important times to connect and share. Gỏi Cuốn, where everyone helps make them, is a perfect example of this feeling. It's a dish that brings people together, not just to eat, but to make stuff and hang out. Whether it's a family dinner, a party, or just a casual hangout with friends, serving Gỏi Cuốn this way makes everyone feel included and welcome, making friendships stronger. So, to wrap it up, Gỏi Cuốn are an amazing food invention. They show how important rice is in Vietnam's history, their idea of eating fresh and balanced food, and their warm, friendly culture. From their old beginnings to being popular all over the world and getting modern makeovers, these fresh spring rolls keep making people happy and refreshed. They are simple but also fancy, healthy but also satisfying. But maybe the most important thing is that Gỏi Cuốn stand for the fun of sharing good food with good friends, making them a true food messenger of Vietnamese friendliness and a loved dish everywhere.